10 massive farms around the world that will blow your mind. Have you ever wondered what the world looks like when agriculture operates at a scale so large, so sprawling, and so mind-bending that it reshapes entire landscapes and even entire economies? Imagine farms so vast the horizon can't contain them, where fields stretch farther than your eyes can track, and where technology, tradition, and raw human determination collide to feed millions. Welcome back to Nature's Arcana, and today we journey through 10 of the most massive farms on Earth, colossal landscapes that redefine what it means to grow food, raise animals, and manage ecosystems on an unprecedented scale. From cattle empires the size of small nations to crop operations so huge they're visible from orbit, this is a tour of agricultural extremes you won't forget. These are 10 massive farms around the world that will blow your mind. Number 1. Anna Creek Station, Australia. The biggest cattle ranch on Earth. If you search for the largest farm on the planet, you won't find it in the American Midwest or the Brazilian grasslands. Instead, you'll discover it deep in the rugged heart of South Australia, where Anna Creek Station sprawls across a staggering 6 million acres, a landmass bigger than the entire nation of Belgium. The moment you step into this arid expanse, you realize it's not just a ranch, it's an entire world. Imagine red earth glowing under relentless sunlight, dust devils spiraling like wandering spirits, and eerie stillness broken only by the distant lowing of cattle. Here, water, more than cattle, is the ruler. The ranch's vastness is necessary because its land is far too dry to support dense herds. Instead, cattle roam like nomads, covering immense distances to graze sparse vegetation. What makes Anna Creek Station extraordinary isn't just its size, but the delicate dance of survival it represents. Managing such a ranch requires an intricate balance of ecology and endurance. Stockhands use helicopters to track and muster cattle across territories so remote you could ride for hours without seeing another human being. Interestingly, this ranch is known for breeding Santa Gertrudis, a hardy cattle breed designed to thrive in brutal heat. And remarkably, even though the property seems impossibly remote, its operations are run with modern communications, GPS mapping, and highly coordinated logistics. As we leave the endless red plains of Australia, we travel to a farm that rivals it in size, but instead of dust and cattle, this one is a sprawling, intensely cultivated ocean of green. Number 2. Mudanjiang City Mega Farm, China, the world's largest dairy operation. Next, we journey to Heilongjiang Province, near China's northeastern border with Russia, where agriculture takes on a scale that feels almost futuristic. The Mudanjiang City Mega Farm isn't just a dairy farm, it's a dairy metropolis. Home to an astonishing 100,000 cows, this massive operation was built to supply China's rapidly growing demand for milk, yogurt, and cheese. When you imagine a dairy farm, you might picture rolling pastures, rustic barns, and slow morning milking routines. But here, the scale defies expectation. Automated feeding systems glide along tracks, delivering precisely portioned rations. Temperature-controlled barns stretch across open land like aircraft hangars. Milk processing facilities run day and night, turning millions of liters of fresh milk into export-ready dairy products. What's most striking is how the farm integrates everything, from feed production to bottling, within its own borders. It's a self-contained dairy ecosystem designed to minimize imports and ensure consistent supply. Curiously, the mega farm also serves as a real-time experiment in large-scale livestock sustainability. With so many cows, waste management becomes a priority. The facility uses methane digesters that transform manure into biogas, powering significant parts of the operation. Leaving this dairy titan behind, we shift from livestock to crops, but on a scale so vast it blurs into the horizon. Number 3. The Gibson Desert Pastoral Zone, Australia. Cattle ranching in an ocean of sand. Australia appears again on our list, and it's no surprise. The continent's enormous landmass and sparse population have produced some of the world's largest pastoral enterprises. In Western Australia's Gibson Desert, a collection of cattle stations collectively forms one of the largest contiguous ranching regions anywhere on Earth. Here you find stations like Marlborough, Rubicon, and Warburton, among others, each covering millions of acres. While individually they don't exceed Anna Creek, together they form a pastoral belt so immense it feels like a parallel world, one where cattle are outnumbered by desert winds. Imagine riding across these lands with nothing but spinifex grass, acacia trees, and rugged mesas as far as the eye can see. The cattle here survive intense desert conditions, feeding on hardy shrubs and native grasses that somehow cling to life in the sandy soil. Interestingly, because the region is so remote, ranchers sometimes go months without face-to-face interactions beyond their team. Supplies are flown in, cattle are monitored via satellite, and when rains do come, rare but powerful, they transform the desert into a fleeting paradise of wildflowers and green patches. Now, from these rugged landscapes, we shift to a farming empire built not on native vegetation, but on precision, machinery, and almost city-like coordination. For 4. The King Ranch, United States. The legend of Texas ranching. Cross the Pacific and land in southern Texas, where one of the most famous ranches in the world stretches across more than 825,000 acres, a land so iconic it helped shape the American image of the cowboy. This is the King Ranch, a titan of U.S. agriculture and ranching history. Walking across King Ranch feels like entering a living legend. Mesquite-dotted plains roll into freshwater lakes, and longhorn cattle graze under enormous sky. The ranch is so large that it's divided into several sub-ranches, each one the size of a small county. King Ranch is known not only for its size, but for its innovations. Here, the legendary Santa Gertrudis cattle breed was developed, combining the heat tolerance of Brahman cattle with the beef quality of Shorthorns. Similarly, the ranch pioneered mechanized farming and improved grassland management techniques that later spread worldwide. Interestingly, the King Ranch doesn't just raise cattle, it also grows cotton, citrus fruits, and sorghum. It protects extensive wildlife habitats, including deer, bobcats, and rare bird species that thrive in the diverse ecosystems. From this American legend, we turn toward a land where farming, and the farms themselves, operate at superpower scale. Number 5. The Al Dahra Farm Network, United Arab Emirates, Agriculture in the Desert. Imagine standing in the open desert of the UAE, surrounded by towering dunes and a heat that vibrates through the air. It seems like the last place you'd find massive farms. And yet, this is where Al Dahra Agriculture has created one of the largest integrated farming networks in the world. What makes Al Dahra extraordinary isn't just size, it's audacity. Across the UAE, Egypt, Serbia, Namibia, and beyond, this farming empire cultivates vast fields of alfalfa, wheat, dates, and high-value crops designed to support food security for desert nations. In Al Ain, hidden among the sands, you discover hundreds of thousands of date palms standing in perfect geometric rows. Each tree produces fruit that supplies domestic and international markets. Meanwhile, massive alfalfa fields, kept alive by intricate irrigation systems, feed dairy and livestock industries. Curiously, Al Dahra's global footprint is strategic. Countries in arid climates outsource water-intensive agriculture to places with more favorable climates. In this case, the UAE controls farms abroad to reduce domestic water consumption while still ensuring reliable food imports. It's a brilliant and controversial approach to sustainability in one of the harshest climates on Earth. As we leave the desert's engineered green, we head south to a nation known for its fertile soils and powerful agricultural giants. Number 6. Fazenda Bom Jesus, Brazil, soybean giant of the tropics. In the rolling soybean fields of Mato Grosso, Brazil, sits Fazenda Bom Jesus, a crop farm so massive it feels like an agricultural continent unto itself. At over 300,000 acres, this farm contributes to one of the world's most vital food chains, Brazil's booming soybean industry. Imagine flying over this farm and seeing wave after wave of green, perfectly aligned in mathematical precision. Here, machinery rules the landscape. Harvesters the size of small houses crawl across the fields in synchronized formation. Drones monitor crop health from above, and soil sensing technology ensures that fertilizer and irrigation are applied with pinpoint accuracy. Soybeans grown here journey across continents, feeding livestock in China, Europe, and the United States, and becoming the building blocks of countless food products. Notably, farms like Fazenda Bom Jesus sit at the center of an ongoing ecological conversation. The Amazon and Cerrado ecosystems lie nearby, and managing expansion responsibly is a constant challenge. Many farms now use rotational planting, conservation set-asides, and sustainability certifications to reduce impact. From these tropical megafarms, we fly to a country where agriculture thrives on both modern technology and centuries-old traditions. Number 7. The Kwekwe Farming Belt, Zimbabwe, a patchwork of massive maize and cattle operations. Travel to southern Africa and land in Zimbabwe's Midlands province, where the Kwekwe Farming Belt stretches across rich soils and open savannas. Although not a single farm, this region contains numerous massive properties, some exceeding 120,000 acres each, dedicated to maize, tobacco, and large cattle herds. Here, agriculture is both economic engine and cultural backbone. Vast maize fields ripple like an inland sea, feeding domestic and regional markets. Cattle graze in open rangelands dotted with acacia trees and termite mounds. The landscape feels alive, filled with birdsong, insects, and the distant calls of herders. What sets the Kwekwe Belt apart is resilience. Despite political upheaval, shifting land policies, and climate pressures, many of the region's large farms have adapted with drought-resistant crops, efficient irrigation, and integrated livestock crop systems. Interestingly, some farms here practice holistic grazing, a method that mimics natural wildlife movements to restore grasslands and boost soil health. As a result, certain properties have seen surprising rebounds in biodiversity. Leaving Zimbabwe's resilient farmlands behind, we move to a very different landscape, one defined by ice, cold, and sheer determination. Number 8. The Siberian Grain Belt, Russia, fields that survive the extreme. Picture standing in the vast plains of Krasnoyarsk Krai or Novosibirsk Oblast, where winter grips the land for half the year, with temperatures plunging below -30 degrees Celsius. Yet this region contains some of the largest grain farms in the world, massive operations cultivating wheat, barley, and sunflowers across millions of acres. In Siberia, farming feels heroic. Heavy machinery rumbles across frost-hardened soil in early spring, racing against the short growing window. When the snow melts, fields transform into enormous patchworks of green and gold stretching into the horizon. What makes these farms fascinating is how they balance old Soviet-era agricultural legacies with cutting-edge modern systems. Precision planting equipment, satellite-guided tractors, and high-yield wheat varieties help push productivity despite harsh conditions. Remarkably, some Siberian farms have expanded rapidly due to climate shifts that lengthen the growing season, an environmental change that presents both opportunity and concern. Now, from the cold steppes of Russia, we head to a place where farming is conducted with almost scientific sterility. Number 9. Rainbow Farms, India, a poultry empire built on scale and science. In southern India, near Pune and Hyderabad, lies one of Asia's largest integrated poultry networks, Rainbow Farms, a colossal operation producing millions of broilers each year. Here, the scale is astonishing, not in rolling fields, but in precision-engineered sheds that stretch for kilometers. The farms maintain controlled environments where temperature, humidity, air circulation, and feeding schedules are automated to ensure optimal growth. As you walk through these facilities, you sense the sheer coordination behind the operation. Chickens move through life stages with scientific efficiency. Feed mills operate continuously. Veterinarians and quality control teams oversee every detail. Interestingly, Rainbow Farms also supplies breeding stock to smaller farms across India, making it a central pillar of the country's poultry chain. And with India's rising demand for chicken and eggs, large farms like this serve as crucial hubs in meeting nationwide nutritional needs. Leaving this world of intensive production, we end our journey in a place where massive farming blends seamlessly with oceans, tides, and coastal culture. Number 10. The Dutch mussel and oyster farms of Zeeland, aquaculture on a grand scale. While most people picture farms as land-based, the Netherlands has turned the ocean itself into a vast agricultural field. In Zeeland, along the southwestern coast, enormous aquaculture farms cultivate mussels and oysters in staggering quantities, millions upon millions each year. Imagine floating above calm estuaries where long ropes and submerged nets create underwater fields. Here, mussels cling and grow in dark clusters, feeding on nutrient-rich currents. Oysters mature in carefully managed beds, protected from storms and predators. These aquatic farms are enormous, not in acreage but in production volume and geographic influence. They supply seafood to much of Europe, and their methods are so efficient that they're studied as models for sustainable aquaculture worldwide. Remarkably, mussel and oyster farms naturally improve water quality, filtering impurities as they feed. In Zeeland, farming and ecosystem health work hand in hand. And with that, we end our journey through Earth's most extraordinary agricultural giants. Standing back from these 10 massive farms, you realize each one is more than a business. It's a reflection of place, culture, climate, and ingenuity. Some push the boundaries of what's possible in harsh environments, others refine efficiency to near perfection, and together they feed billions. The sheer scale of these farms is awe-inspiring, but the stories behind them, the people, the landscapes, the adaptations, are what truly bring them to life. Which of these massive farms surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed exploring the extremes of our world's agriculture, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again here on Nature's Arcana, where the wonders of our planet are never in short supply.